Hi. I want to make a video that's a little different than the ones I've made in the last few months. The last few months we've been traveling in our motorhome, and we're now back in Mexico at our home here on Lake Chapala in Ajijic, Mexico. I want to, in this video, talk about some of the people that we met and some of the things that we enjoyed on our 5 months in the motorhome. But I also want to talk to those of you who are new subscribers to my channel, and by new I mean in the last few months, since about Christmas 2017. Many of you signed up or subscribed to my channel because you were interested in the people that I hung around with, and you were interested in our RV life. And that's a very big part of the life of Lynn and I. However, another large part of our life is here at Lake Chapala in our retired life, our wonderful home that we have here. And now that we're home for several months, my channel is going to be different. And I'm hoping that those of you who have come along because we are RVers will find some value in hanging around to see what goes on in Mexico when you're retired. It's not exciting every day, and I don't try to make it exciting every day, but I think there are those of you who just are interested in whatever goes on, even in the calm and day-to-day routines of living in a different country than you grew up and lived most of your life in. Speaking of most of your life, Lynn and I, our last anniversary, and you might be interested to know that our anniversary is 9/11, that's September 11th, which, well, it's been our anniversary longer than it's been anything else. Our last anniversary, we realized that we have spent over 1/3 of our married life of 43, don't check me on that because we lived together for 3 before we got married, and I don't always add that up right. It's 43 or 46 years. And over 1/3 of our married life, we've lived here in Mexico. And so I think what I want to say is that we know a lot about retiring and living in Mexico, and I'm happy to share that with you. There's a channel that I watch called Jerry Brown Travels, and he's got thousands of subscribers and gets thousands and thousands of views on his channel, and it's about retiring in Mexico, but he also travels to Thailand or Vietnam or somewhere also. But I take away from watching him that there's a lot of interest in retiring in Mexico, and in particular in this area. So if you've got questions, you'd like to put them in the comments. Give me some suggestions on what you'd like me to talk about regarding retiring in Mexico or living in Mexico if you're not retiring. There are things to know about it that you can dig out on the internet, and of course it's always opinionated, and mine will be too. I have a little business card that says free opinions, and you get what you pay for. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is please continue to give me a chance to bring you something of value, whether it's knowledge about retiring, or whether it's just entertaining, or whether it just passes the time when you sit down with your YouTube views. I hope that you'll stick around even though you just came to see us because we were RVers. That's what I got to say, and I've made this as a preface to the rest of this video just because I wanted to say it first. So here's the rest.
Please enjoy my stories or whatever else might be on my mind today.
Hello. If you've been watching my channel, you know that we're back home in Mexico. 5 months in the motorhome, October to the end of February, and we enjoyed it thoroughly. Went from South Dakota to Montana to Idaho to Washington to Oregon to California to Arizona, and flew back home to Mexico a week or 10 days ago. When I left in the end of September 30th, I think I had 52 subscribers on my channel. And that's after posting videos irregularly for almost 3 years. And quite frankly, I was getting a little discouraged. Not that I thought my content warranted, going viral or anything, but I thought, 50 subscribers after almost 3 years. Well, like I said, it was just a little discouraging. And the thing I was wondering about was how many of them are my friends and relatives. And so I kind of took a survey as I traveled around visiting my friends and relatives this time, and I found out that the fact is that it's not very many of my friends and relatives. Apparently my friends and relatives know what I'm doing anyway, or they've seen what I'm doing anyway, and they aren't that interested in what goes on every day. So I now have, 550 some subscribers, and that all kind of happened since Christmas, December 2017. And what happened was some very nice other YouTubers helped me. And I want to talk about some of them. We met up with that so-called tribe in Ehrenberg, Arizona. And quite frankly, I stalked them. I wanted to go and meet them, partly because there were a number of personalities there that I've followed on YouTube for years, and I just wanted to meet them. And I thought, well, hey, if I can hang around with them for a while, maybe I'll learn something about making my channel grow. The first person I met was Ajijic of Pandemonium, and she very graciously immediately offered to promote my channel, and within a few days after she posted that, my channel started to grow. And so, one of the things I want to do here today is I want to thank Ajijic. I really appreciate it. And I think if you hadn't started the ball rolling, not that the ball has rolled really big with 550 subscribers, but it seems big to me. It's 10 times as big as it was after me messing around with it for 3 years. Anyway, thank you, Ajijic. I appreciate it, and I thoroughly enjoyed spending a little time with you. You're an amazing person. Some of the other people I met I want to talk about too. And I don't have any particular order, and if I leave out somebody that I met, I'm sorry. But there are certain people who come to mind that it was exciting for me to meet. Caravan Carolyn is one of them. And I don't think she promoted my channel, but just somebody seeing her on my channel, I think certainly helped. I want to say something about her in particular that
say is there was some negativity going around it one day, and I'm not going to tell you what the negativity was. But she came to me and she said some very positive things to me that I really appreciated hearing. And so what I take away from that, and what I want to share with you, is that I personally have experienced what I consider to be the fact that Caravan Carolyn is a very, very nice person. Carolyn, if you're watching, you probably know what I'm talking about. And thanks. I didn't make a big deal of it at the time, but I got to tell you, it made an impression on me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I met Eric and Jack's Nomadic Fanatic, and it was at the RTR, and at the RTR, he is constantly mobbed by lots and lots of people. And I wasn't staying at the RTR, so I wasn't there like 24/7, and I wasn't there for evening campfires and so on. I was camped with my Monaco group, 54 Monaco motorhomes in a big circle over at Raposa South. But I went up there a couple of different days, and I did it not because I wanted to go to the RTR and hang around and listen to the programs, which I did a little bit of, but my main reason, again, was to meet other YouTubers. And it turned out to, again, be really, well, exciting for me. And when I met Jax and Eric, as I started to say, they were mobbed all the time by people wanting to, be there and get in the camera. And I was one of them. I'm not saying they were bad. I'm saying I was one of a mob. And I did have a personal conversation with him. I think it was about our motorcycles or something. And he very graciously came alongside of me and we took a selfie. And again, it was after watching him for years, it was like meeting a celebrity, and I liked it. I met RV Joey, and if you've watched my channel for a little while, you've seen the little bit of time I spent with her. And she also promoted my channel. And I got to tell you, hanging around with RV Joey is just fun. There's no other way to put it. Everything that comes out of her mouth is just fun to listen to. She's just fun. I can't put it any other way. I like RV Joey as a person a lot. And thank you, Joey. Thank you for doing what you could to help my tiny little channel along. I appreciate it. By the way, Joey, if you're listening or watching this, remember we had a little plan about a secret connection that we had in years past that we discovered in talking to each other. And I don't think we're yet ready to divulge the secret yet, but you're first. You divulge it first whenever you're ready. Who else did I meet? One of the guys I've really hung around with a lot and really enjoyed has just started a channel like in February, and that's the Mobile Traveler, Randy, and his wife Lisa. Randy and I kind of found each other to be interesting because we're both from originally South Dakota. And there was another guy there too, Ducky, that had a little tiny Airstream Traveler that I had seen his Airstream trailer in Rapid City twice a day, going and coming to get my mother from the independent living place she lives in and taking her over to my brother's. I went past this thing twice a day for the whole month of October. And in Arizona, it shows up. And it's Ducky and his little trailer. And anyway, we kind of had a little South Dakota thing going there, and that was fun. But Randy builds stuff, and I like to build stuff. You know that if you've watched any of my building things. And we just kind of bonded over building stuff. And I really enjoyed Randy. And if you haven't heard of The Mobile Traveler, that's his YouTube channel, go check it out. He's a kick in the pants. Mobile Traveler, Randy. I met so many people that it's hard to, pick who I'm going to talk about next.
Well, I stopped this video and took a look at it, and I realized that with my iPhone I was looking at the wrong little dot. That is the camera lens, so I wasn't looking at the camera, I was looking over here. And I found that rather disturbing, but sorry, I'm not going to redo it. Who else did I meet? One of the guys that I met at the RTR, just walking around, was Wandering Jimmy. And I had met him before at Ehrenberg. And Wandering Jimmy and I traded promoting our channels, and I don't know if you saw it on mine, but his mentioning me on his helped quite a bit. I like Wandering Jimmy for a particular reason. He's one of the most calm persons I've ever met. There's just a calm presence about him that's it's intriguing. Anyway, thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. In Ehrenberg, there was Jeff of Mr. JD's World. I think he changed his channel name. It used to be P&J's something or other. And I guess it was too confusing about peanut butter and jelly. But anyway, Mr. JD's World. And this is another guy that's just calm. Some of his videos, they just draw me in because of his calm voice. And I find that very pleasing. Anyway, I enjoyed spending time with Jeff, and he was always one of the guys that was helping cook around the campfire, and he's a good cook, by the way. Jeff, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I hope we meet up again. Who else? Guy named Ross Perot. Okay, so I'm sitting here editing, and I hear Ross Perot. Sorry. Ross Duprey, D-U-P-R-E-Y, Ross Duprey. Ross Ross doesn't seem to talk much, and he doesn't have a big YouTube channel. I've looked at some of his videos, and they're just fine, but he's a quiet guy. There's something else going on there, though. One day, we saw like a water bottle sitting by my motorhome. And it just sat there for, a couple of days. And finally I said, well, who left that there? And nobody. And then somebody said, well, that's Ross's. And I know this doesn't seem like a big deal when I'm talking about it, but it was a kind of a strange thing that he left it there and then it disappeared and then he put it back and there wasn't any reason for it to be there, and maybe he set it in the shade while he walked down by the river or something, I don't know. But then at one point I tried to sneak it back over by him, just trying to play a game, and I got caught and whatever. Long story. Anyway, Ross was cool. That's all I need to say about Ross. Who else? Let's see. Rambling Ruby. And Rambling Ruby was just getting her channel started when we were all there in Ehrenberg also. And Ramblin' Ruby is a hoot. Lynn and I love Ramblin' Ruby just listening to her accent. She's from Florida, but she sounds like she's from the deep south somewhere, and I don't really know where she got the accent, but boy, check out Ramblin' Ruby's channel. And just listen to that southern drawl. It's just cool. Oh, how could I forget Campervan Kevin? I forgot because I didn't really get to spend that much time with him because when he came to Ehrenberg, he was ill. And he was very conscientious about not shaking hands or being too close around people because he didn't want to pass it on. So he did this like elbow bump thing, and that was very, as I said, conscientious on his part. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, and then he took off and went to the RTR, and I think I saw him a couple of times, but I never really got a chance to have another conversation with him. Oh, how could I forget Blue Van Dan? Blue Van Dan, he's this very tall, very dark complected man with a voice that sounds just like Sam Elliott. Check out Blue Van Dan. He hangs around with that so-called tribe, and he's a very valued member of the tribe. He used to be Solar Oven something or other, and he used to manufacture or make solar ovens and sell them. And so he's always cooking with the solar oven, and I've tasted some of it, and it comes out really good. Brownies were great. Who else? You know, I met so many people, and I hesitate to talk about some of the others that I met because I didn't get to know them that well, and I don't want to pretend like I know them better than I know them. But if you're one of the people that I met, and you're watching this, and I haven't named you by name, know that I do remember you, and I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you. I hope that we can meet up with some of these people again next year. It is our intention to go back and hang around that part of Arizona at that time of the year, and it would be a great pleasure to hang out with some of you guys again. And for those of you who are new subscribers, and by new I mean in the last couple of 3 months, because of the 500 and some of you that there are, most of you have come along because you've found me through these other people that I've talked about. Some of you have found me because you're interested in retiring in Mexico. As you know, we have a home on Lake Chapala in Ajijic. Ajijic is probably one of the, or at least the north shore of Lake Chapala, we call it Lakeside, is one of the largest communities of expats, retired expatriated people anywhere in the world. And it's a wonderful place to retire. It's a wonderful place to live. And over the course of the 16 years that we have lived here, mostly full-time, probably the average age has gone down. There are now many people that live here at Lakeside, and I'm talking about foreigners who are younger and have kids that they put in schools here, and so it's not as much of a retirement community per se as it was 18 years ago when we first visited. 18 years ago, we were the young kids that came down here, and by young I mean we were in our 50s. And we thought it was the fountain of youth. So I kind of made jokes about, well, hey, the fountain of youth is always being able to find older people to hang around with, because then you're always the younger people. Well, after 18 years here in this retirement community, it's getting harder to find the older people. Older than us, I mean. Well, I think this now makes this the longest video I've ever made. And if you've watched it all the way up to this point, thank you.